So I'm Tom Beattie and I'm Head of Animation and Children's for Tiger Aspect Productions. So it's overseeing the whole of the output and programming for children's for Tiger Aspect. So Tiger Aspect is drama and comedy and factual, so I look after the kids section. So that's developing new shows as well as looking after the shows that we've already produced. So for example, Charlie and Lola, we're still doing lots of merchandise and other releases that go with that, so overseeing the brand management. Okay, so I didn't know I wanted to go into animation and kids. It wasn't always what I wanted to do. So at uni I was doing advertising and commercials, so I came out to be an advertising art director, copywriter, and then that's what I tried to get into, and then actually, awkward story, met someone at a party who was doing something in commercials, and then got the other side of the camera and started running on live action shoots. So did all the running up the ladder that way, to, from that side of things, so assistant director to production managing commercials and pop videos. And then someone offered me a job in animation, and it was longer projects. It was a 2-year project, and after 4-week turnarounds on pop videos and commercials, which after a while can be quite intense. So when someone said, you know what you're doing in a year's time on a Monday, it sounded quite good. Freelance is good because it's a varied amount of jobs, but you haven't got the security of a job, and also it's a weird thing, but you have to be nice every day. On a freelance job you have to turn up, so you'd go on to shoot as a assistant director, you've got to be on it and on the ball. And in a full-time job, and that's not the reason why I've got it, but if you have an off day, you've still got that job, and then the next day you're back to normal again. No one's gone on. Tom was grumpy on that 1-day shoot, so not having him back again. So after school, I went the arts route, so I went into a foundation year afterwards, an art foundation. So that's the year when you kind of have a much bigger playtime on art. For me, that was my changing point, because you go through school and it's very sort of, these are the boxes you do, and even the art side of things is very much you have to do this as an exam. And then you go to foundation year, it's going, right, here's a room, fill it with what you want and let your hair down. I was kind of like, this is amazing. So I kind of really sort of grew up in personality at that stage as well, because it kind of let me just run with things. So I did the foundation year and then progressed through into university. So I did a course called Visual Communications, which is a jack of all trades thing. So it was a bit of animation, a bit of photography, a bit of graphic design, but specialised in advertising. So my first job after university, I actually went back home to my parents and worked in a supermarket, because I wanted to come to London. I'm a bit of a romanticist. London was where I wanted to go. It was a big city, bright lights, where the streets are paved with gold. So that's why I wanted to go there and get a job. I needed cash really, so I could make that move. My parents could support me, but I also needed to do that to get enough to move down. So I initially wanted to move down to get into advertising. So it was a really weird thing. So it was in art director, copywriter pairs, as it works in the advertising industry. And I spent a lot of time trying to find a partner to do that. It was like trying to find someone to marry. And in the end, that wasn't for me. So, and that's where I got into the whole other side of the camera. So my advice would be persistence for somebody starting out. I think, so when I started out, when I really wanted to get into production, so I wanted to get into commercials and pop video productions, I got a list of all the production outfits within London, and I went down and I sent a CV to all of them, and then I cold called them afterwards and followed up with that, so that you didn't hear anything. Oh well, here we go. You just kept calling, and then after a while someone said, all right, come in, you annoying person, and spend a week. And I did a free week doing work experience, whatever you call it, unpaid work, which is not very good, but at that stage that was what you did. And then it kept on, and then it got further on from there. There's other sort of things I did. I printed my CV on a fluorescent yellow paper. So I called up and said, have you got my CV? They go, I'm not sure. I go, well, it's the bright yellow fluorescent. Oh yeah, here it is, because it stuck out from everything else. So that was kind of my advertising and trying to stick out sort of influence that helped me get jobs or noticed.